We're really so glad that you are joining us for this podcast. We hope you will stay with us for the entire series of conversations that we plan to have. This podcast, Resilience Naturally, is a product of the Environmental Foundation of Jamaica as part of the Jamaica Urban Solutions for the Environment, otherwise known as JUICE project. My name is Carol Narcisse, and I'm the Gender and Social Inclusion Specialist with the JUICE project. And beside me as my great co-host is...
I'm Rashini Clark-Randall, the Nature-Based Climate Solutions Specialist with the JUICE project. Over the next few weeks, we'll be taking you on a journey to explore issues surrounding how climate change, climate action, and gender intersects, and how working closely with nature can help us to solve some of the problems that we face every day.
That's right, Rashini. Climate change, as we all know, or we should by now have heard the term climate change. And it's posing all sorts of problems. And the one we're going to be tackling in this conversation is the issue of how climate impacts food supply, and therefore how we're going to deal with food security when we're having more droughts or we're having more flooding, hurricanes more frequent, the intensity of hurricanes becoming greater, and so on. All of those things, as everyone knows, coming out of Melissa and every other event that we've had, or let's say for the last 3 years, everyone knows liquor breeze blow or plenty breeze blow, and we can't buy food because the prices do what? Go through the roof. And I don't know about you, Rashini, but after Melissa, I said to myself, go and plant in my backyard because this has got to stop. This over-dependence on buying everything that I consume. We're going to be talking about food security, and to kick these things off, I spoke with Errol Simmons, a Kingston farmer, who turned his rooftop into a living food garden. And I should just tell you, Errol Simmons is a mechanic by profession, and it is on the top of his mechanic building that he has created a garden that is just full of stuff. So let's hear what Errol shared, and then we're going to come back to our two great guests in studio. What gave you the idea of using your mechanic garage? Mm-hmm. What made you think of incorporating a food garden?
All right, so I'm always growing up in the country, in Clarendon, and at the age of 4, 5, 6, 7, you're out there doing things. Mm-hmm. So even when I did this, I leave a little section because I had to plant.
And so you looked around your space and you said, yeah, all right, it's my mechanic shop, but I can grow food here too.
Right, yes. But I didn't have much space, as you can see. Mm-hmm. So I would plant, this is avocado. My cousin, John Chambers, gave me 2 avocado, the Simmons pear, best pear. Yes. I planted it. Yes. Right there.
And listeners, what Errol is mentioning is in just a little side of the of the properties, like, the side of your house, not wide. And along that side, he has plantain, banana, pears. Is that are these June plums?
June plums.
June plums.
Rose apple.
Rose apple.
Wow. Rose apple, lime.
You hardly see rose apple in Kingston. And you put them in the bags to protect it from insects.
Right, the fruit bats.
Yes.
Which is the rat bats.
Yes.
And the birds.
Listeners, the fruit bag is transparent. It still allows for the sunlight, etc., but it keeps away the birds and the insects from eating the fruit before you're able to enjoy it.
Right. So the main thing is that when Gilbert came around, I wasn't going out as I would normally do. I'm an outside party person, and I needed something to do. I have stuff on the roof, didn't think of it. I started putting 1 and 2 stuff. I had pineapple down here, just wasn't doing well. And I started moving few upstairs, and I realized how they were doing.
What did you have upstairs before you
just
were
store some
planting?
parts and
Just parts for the
store some
mechanics
parts.
business.
Yeah.
So then you said, no, I can move the parts to one side and put some pots.
And then I start to research and realize how much container could plant this in pots. I Google, can I plant it? Yes, you can plant in pots. The size, different sizes.
And I see that you use every little space.
Yes, I do.
So, so you've built your, a little stand along the fence line,
I do a lot
and
of building.
and along the fence line now you have cucumber vine going up the fence.
Yeah,
tomatoes tied onto the fence.
Lettuce there.
Lettuce in pots.
Yes.
Gosh.
And then, we're going upstairs.
Yes, let's go upstairs. So follow us on audio as we make our way upstairs to Errol's amazing rooftop garden.
So these are pineapples. I hardly plant the head because the head takes like 4 or 5 years.
Oh.
So this is a slip, or the little one that grow around the base.
Yes.
Yeah, or sucker. So, but most of these are the slips that grow around the base. So I will be putting them in bigger pots. These will take like less than 2 years at times, or a little over 2 years to be.
Errol Simmons, a Kingston farmer who turned his rooftop into a living food garden.
All right, so we are going to have our guests in studio weighing on the issue, but I would just like to set the tone since we are talking about nature-based solutions. I just want to give a quick relatable definition. So nature-based solutions are designs that utilize nature or natural elements, so rocks, stones, vegetation, to solve everyday issues that we're having, especially in our cities, or what we call our urban spaces. And some of these issues are food security, heat stress, biodiversity loss, and flooding. So today, as we look to weigh in on food security, let's hear from our guests.
Joining us for this conversation, Mr. Colin Henry, who is Principal Director of Field Services with the Rural Agricultural Development Authority. What is the acronym for that? You all know? RADA. And attorney at law and local urban farming enthusiast Clyde Williams. Gentlemen, welcome to Resilience Naturally podcast.
Blessed love. I have a virgin who says a Rasta farmer Rasta. Farmer
Rasta.
lawyer, farmer.
So thank you for joining us for the conversation. I want to, so all right, let's just unpack this whole big thing, right? Many people listening will say, it's quite all right. I don't have no space to grow nothing. So I will continue to be dependent on buying the things I eat. And when things go up, then I cut back. And that means my nutrition not so hot some of the time. But in your case, Clyde, let me start with you. Is a big space you have?
All right. Big is relative. But I started with, first it was all grass because I developed the property. And I wasn't too sure, so it was all grass. And then I got up one morning and I said, no, so I'm a cow. so
can't eat grass.
You know what I'm saying? And then I'm from a peasant kind of background. My family are peasant farmers, holding in Veer. So we had acres of land. So the whole of our backyard had food in it. We'd go out, cut food.
Which parish?
This is Clarendon, Veer,
Okay.
down at Veer, right? In Clarendon. I'm from Hayes in Clarendon. So then I said, let's start. So I just started to carve out little places in the backyard and just transform the whole place till it moved from 2-bed to 3-bed to 4-bed to 5-bed. But the most important point is, whatever small space or large space or medium size, put it in some food. So, yes, I have some space. Most of my backyard is really for gardening and for permanent trees. Most of my backyard. For persons who don't have a big backyard, any little space will do.
Let me just ask this quick question. Hold your thought, Rashidi. I wanted to just quickly ask Mr. Henry, what do we mean by food security? What are we talking about?
Food security. The importance of food security is to provide healthy food at reasonable prices so that persons can have healthy diet in a sustainable way. And to food security, we are talking about producing food all year round. So we are talking about vegetables, tubers. We are talking about the protein mix, animal and plant protein. But the importance is to produce in a sustainable way. Over the last 3 to 4 years, coming out of the Ivan hurricane period, we have seen what climate change has been having on food security. In terms of we have extreme drought, extreme flooding, and then we have the cost of food in terms of the prices continue to rise. And most persons are unable to cope with the prices. So from where we sit as a ministry, we realize that diversifying food production in the country is important. And that is why we have developed a policy and looking at urban farming. So urban farming is part of our strategic program. So we are providing resources to persons to go into urban farming. So we are providing inputs like clean planting material, includes seedling, seeds, potting mix, agrochemicals, and also training. The capacity building is also crucial so that these persons can understand the do's and don'ts, what to do and how to do it.
We're going to come back to how we're going to access all of that great stuff that you say you have that you can supply communities and householders. Rashini, you had wanted to.
Yes, thank you, Carol. So actually, we've already segued into my question, which is that Mr. Williams, you are a farming enthusiast, you're of a peasant background, and I think that had a lot to do with your interest in getting into farming. But I'm thinking for the youth, the younger generation, especially those who were born and bred in the city, how can we really emphasize the importance of urban farming and kind of encourage for these younger demographics to get into urban farming? So what do you see as that bridging the gap generationally that would promote for urban farming to be taken up more by the younger?
Well, I just say a couple of things initially. That the first thing is that growing your own food is such a delightful experience. And for urban planting, you may not get into tubers like the yam and them things they call tubers, right? Cocoa.
Vegetables.
The tubers, what are tubers?
Tubers, sweet potato, yam. Cocoa, dasheen, cassava.
Right. So you may not necessarily, because them think they are 7 months and 9 months and those things.
Yeah.
So
and they need space, right? They need
That's
space
correct.
The
for that.
Simmons who we heard from,
Yes.
on the roof,
Yes.
in pots,
Yes.
everything you can think
Yes,
of,
man.
including the yams
Yam
and the sweet
cocoa and so
potato
on.
and the this and that. Yes.
So what we have done, we have based on research and our experiment with the research stations and our demonstration plot, we have experimented with different system, different growing system. So like sweet potato, Irish potato can be grown into bags or tall 45-gallon drums by putting the different system in place in terms of you opening the spaces so that you can add water and fertilizer. So there are a number of different systems that can be adapted in the urban spaces.
The urban space.
Okay.
But in
I'm
relation
glad.
to those young
right.
people, I wouldn't encourage them to think along tubers yet, 7 months and the 9 months.
No.
I would encourage them to get into what we call cash crops generally, tomatoes, those things in 6 weeks, in 8 weeks. So it's scallion, it's thyme, it's tomatoes, it's peppers, it's callaloo, it's pak choy, it's Indian spinach, it's kale, it's cabbage, it's lettuce. Those are the kinds of cucumbers. Those are the kinds of things I'd encourage because in 6 weeks you start eating. So like at my home.
So it encourages you.
Absolutely. So first you go on to plant the things you eat and love to eat. So if you do a lot of lettuce and thing, you can start planting some iceberg lettuce or anyone you think you can grow. You do tomatoes, you can plant tomatoes. You do cucumbers, you can plant. And these kinds of cash crops, these turnover crops are simple to grow in relation to, you don't need no whole heap and no nothing. Simple to grow. Most of them only need primarily nitrogen, which is based on cow dung or manure.
Broken down poultry manure.
That's correct, right? So I would encourage them to first decide, what do you like to eat in terms of veggies? Okay, 2 or 3 or 4, start there. Don't start big, start small and grow it out. So start by just 2 first. Stuff it, probably a little cucumber and some tomatoes.
So we want to start.
Yes.
We don't know that rather give us seedling and all these things. How did you start?
How did I start?
Yes.
Well, the first thing I had to recognize that the soil I had at home was not sufficient to sustain. I'm in a limestone country. There's a lot of red soil. So it does have some strengths. So like peppers and some other things love that kind of soil, but some other things don't do well. So the first thing I acknowledged that I had to kind of amend the soil by adding nutrients. So I started a compost. So I don't allow any green waste in my household to go to waste. None at all. And I did what I did from country. We just dig 2 holes on the back. So I didn't even go no fancy nothing. I just went to the extreme back of my property and just dig 2 holes, about 3 feet deep and about 3 feet wide. Start with one and then seal it with guinea grass. So how I do the compost, I put in all the green all the green waste in your garden, all the green waste in the kitchen and all of the green waste. No oil in it at all, no butter, just the green waste. And then what we would do, if we have beaten up soil somewhere, after a layer of green waste, put some of the beaten up soil in it. And so on, our dry out soil, and then another green of lace, and then another layer. And at the end of that process, I seal it off with some guinea grass. And then I'd use grey water. Any of your grey water, your wash bath pan water carry go through upon it. Kitchen sitting carry go through upon it. So we'd use all the grey water to help to break it down, because you need the water to help break it down and so forth. And then when that hole finish, when we seal it, because we're not more for God to say, we seal it, we're going to the other hole. By the time the other hole full up, guess what? The first one, yes. So I harvest that compost. Let me tell you something. If you ever harvest compost, oh God,
I know
the soil is just, yeah.
So how long, wait, how long?
I would say 2 harvests a year roughly in terms of the compost. Can take a little while for the breakdown, 6 months.
6 months so that's for the breakdown.
Yes.
For
so I call it a harvest time.
So you get it, when it breaks down for 6 months, you get it to a humus level. So it will release the nitrogen to the plants.
You hear the science part.
And some of the times, because there's a variety of things breaking down, you get some phosphorus as well. Not a lot. Phosphorus is important for rooting and stem stability and those things. And then, of course, potassium, which is the other main nutrient, is what we call wood ash. So all the time farmer talk about potash, right? So in the cook shop, you get wood ash. It mustn't be coming from the coal we import from America or foreign. No. Our original coal, wood.
So traditionally, the persons in the rural areas, they would take the wood ash and add it to the plant.
There you go.
So you get the potassium out there. The potassium help now with fruit setting and the quality fruit. Yes. So the taste of the sweet pepper, the taste of the strawberry in the garden.
Yes.
Yeah. So the potassium will enhances all of that.
Yeah, and if you have peppers that the pepper's not fruiting or the tomato not fruit. Wood ash, potassium.
But just quickly, our youths today, they don't like to involve in the very hard work. They want to be creative. So we are promoting urban garden, but we are trying to make it sexy so that we can attract more young youth. That is why now we have brought in the vertical garden. And the vertical garden can set up in such a way that it can monitor on your phone, monitor the irrigation system, your fertigation system. And it also encourages you to stimulate their mind and you bring out the kind of creativity out of it. And that will get greater interest. And we have been doing that.
No,
so I just want to pick up quickly on terms of the starting point. All right, so the soil is not good, so I brought in. So we go up at Jamaica Bauxite Institute. Them is a seedling, there a nursery up there. Them also have soil up there. We go over Hope Gardens and so on. We go down at Gaia, some Indian people have soil. In other words, I'm going around and finding out these things. So I'm combining my compost. I get some additional soil from outside. I sieve it. I make a nice sieve. So the soil is so nice and soft and so on and so on. So get all that and I get some wood ash. As a standard thing, every time we finish, we replenish the beds with some of that because we have neighbors who are cookers, the people them cook shop. And the manure. If you're using foul manure, country people know you have to make it burn out good. Because if you not burn out good, it will kill all of the roots of the plant.
So what you mean by burnout?
You have to make it explain to them.
So when I take the poultry manure from the poultry house, you have to make it broken down for at least 6 months so that you can release the ammonium out of it, or else it will burn the plant.
Hence the burnout we call it.
Yeah, so that is why persons call it burnout. So if you just take it, from the poultry house, then when it is releasing the ammonium gas, that will destroy the plant. So you have to make it broke down properly so that it moves, so that you can get the nitrogen to the plant.
When I used to have things growing, I have restarted, but when I used to, at least my brother used to, he would get the chicken manure from the farm in bags, and it was very dry. That would have been
broken down.
I see. Okay, and so you want it to be very dry, dusty almost.
And what is good about the broken down poultry manure, it helps to build back the structure of the soil. So it encourages microbial activity, increase aeration and also water holding capacity. So it helps to bind the soil particles closer.
And it helps with the breathing as well.
Yeah, so aeration. That is what we call aeration. So when last have you seen earthworm?
Well, I see them in my yard.
So when you use organic manure, broken down poultry manure and the waste from the kitchen, that encourage microbial activity. So you'll see the earthworm. The earthworm help with aeration, movement and moisture in the soil.
So earthworm is not something we fit.
Earthworm is farmers' friend. They are a part of nature. Yes. They are a part of our ecosystem, creating ecological balance in the ecosystem.
I need Jamaicans to understand this. There are places in the world where they buy earthworms. Then go shop feet, put that in soil. So what you want to do is to make sure you have some bioorganic material to encourage the earthworms.
But I want to just add to, in terms of the youth, what we are doing what we call school garden in school. So we can get the youths to get the mindset from that early stage so that they can understand the importance of producing and food security and how they can help with building food resilience in the country.
Even outside, Rashini and everyone, outside of school context, it's one of the reasons why encouraging urban communities to have community gardens, because learning about where our food comes from, how it grows and so on, can be for children living in town and cities and things.
Certainly.
Can be what they see as they are walking along with their mother and father to go shop or whatever. And especially if, as mothers and fathers, we are talking to them about what they're seeing and how it's growing. So it don't have to only be at school.
So it also facilitates knowledge sharing.
Yes.
So that we can continue from what our ancestors used to do in the past, so that the young person can understand the do's and don'ts and what is expected of them and how they can help to build resilience in the community. And also, when you look at what is taking place with climate change, setting up green spaces in the community through urban garden also help with carbon sink, so that we can reduce the amount of heat or carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
You're going to have to make the connection, but I'm going hand to Rashini.
We've been exploring how to get the youth involved, and we've spoken about technology, which is very interesting. But let's kind of go back to nature-based solutions and think of communities in Jamaica where there aren't green spaces that you can access, marginalized lands, and how can we encourage urban farming at the community level then? As Carol mentioned, creating these community gardens. I think it's an initiative that not only rests with community members, but in the public realm. So it's something that also requires us to look on our development policies and how we designate marginalized lands for the kinds of development that we see missing.
It's catching. So because it's catching, like where I live, once I started and I shared some of the food with my neighbors, then neighbor 2 start, then neighbor 3 start and so forth. Yes.
But you have space.
Yes.
What about communities?
Within the open spaces. So what we have been doing, we have been partnering with private and government agencies, working with the communities. So we have been having a series of sessions across these communities, identifying the spaces and also providing support as to the way in terms of developing these green spaces. So the support that we have
spaces and turn them into green spaces.
Right,
so these spaces that we have identified, we are providing with support like water tanks, seeds, seedlings. And to strengthen this kind of operation, we have structured our system in such a way that we have what we call nursery houses within all the other parish offices. And we are selling quality seedlings at reasonable prices on a
Right.
consistent basis. And we're talking about leafy vegetables, we're talking about herbs, things that can be done in the
Right,
this
right.
And
space.
by herbs, you're not
And-
talking ganja.
No.
Just like scallion and thyme.
And just to add to
Yeah,
quickly, we have our social services home economics department where we're
Right.
also training the persons how to use the vegetable, how to use the herbs in terms of value addition.
Okay.
So
And
it's
that-
a
and that-
structured approach.
That's very good information for our audience to remember, be mindful of. But I want to come back to something we were discussing actually before the session started, and it's soil health. In some of the marginalized public lands that we can redesign into these community gardens, is there good soil health, and how can we promote good soil health? Because we want to make sure that we're eating quality foods as well. How can we encourage better soil health in lands where we have some bit of pollution,
All sorts of things
you know,
have been
especially in
dumped that
urban
land.
spaces?
All right, so
Just that's going to be a big challenge in the urban spaces, because you have to approach with the assumption that the soil is not as living as the
Right.
first one. It has
Yes,
suffered. You can see it's beaten out and so on.
polluted.
Polluted
Right.
and so on. So several things. You're going to have some fencing. You're going to have some fencing to keep the dogs out, to keep the goats out, to keep the 4 people, the 4 foot people, not the 2 foot people, to keep the 4 foot people out. You're going to have some fencing. You're going to have to irrigate. You have to till up that first. So even when you're bringing in soil, as you know, you have to till the soil that you're going to drop that new soil on. So you're going to have to bring in that. So that's where I think RADA could come in and give a lot of assistance in that regard.
So what we are, as a responsible agency, what we have been doing, we have been, as I mentioned before, we're trying to get the community to own the green spaces. So they have an interest in it. So we get that buy-in.
What do you mean own?
Own, that means that they adapted and be a part of the green spaces. So the green space
Okay.
is just not left
Not
hanging.
legally.
So
Okay, right.
not legally owned. I mean, managing it,
Yes.
and in terms of to have the proper security, as he mentioned, in terms of keeping out stray animals, so that persons are interested. So that is why we keep the community session to train them and educate them and the importance of having the green spaces. Having identified the green spaces, then we test the soil that is there. And if the soil is not suitable, we brought in additional soil and soil enhancers from an organic level so that we can encourage proper soil
Or you
health.
go for container garden?
I will go for container garden, but if the space is there that we can till the soil and add additional soils and enhance the soil, we'll do that. But if the space is in such a way that it cannot enhance, we bring in the containerized garden, including vertical farming. And there are a number of different systems that we have been using. We have been using old tires, we have been using
Old
plastic containers, old drums,
Old bag
and we
pan.
cut them in such a way, puncture them and set them up in such a way with irrigation system. We have also identified spaces that we are also harnessing rainwater to help sustain the operation.
Urban farming has to have an element of urban planning
Certainly.
attached, conscious urban planning. So we're not building on every piece of land. Yes, you have to meet housing needs, but you also need to meet food security issues, nutritional issues, health, and community cohesion.
So we have been approaching communities, especially the new schemes that coming on board. Identify the who in charge of like the community organization, like the association, and we invite them to the meeting and also training them. So we are getting a number of buy-in. As a matter of fact, the kind of support that persons are seeking from us right now is tremendous. Many in Jamaica, and especially in the Kingston metropolitan area, are knocking on our door to assist with urban gardening.
Do you find that post Melissa that more people are trying to grow
It has
what they eat?
increased at
Exponentially.
since COVID-19.
Interesting.
And
Yes.
what we have been doing, so the backyard garden program that we are providing support, because we don't have enough to give everybody what we do, we set up a system that persons apply. So we put a quota for each parish and person apply. So it's a first come, first in.
So I want to come back a little bit to the concept of food security. There's also the issue of supply chain, which is why after COVID, because the COVID phenomenon was a supply chain phenomenon
Supply
that
chain.
drove up food prices. So the two things, yes, Jamaica is very susceptible to external shocks, right? In the supply chain. COVID made it so that, shipping came to a halt and so on. And that's one of our vulnerabilities. So how do we increase production so that we are not as dependent on the external sources is part of the notion of food security.
Just before you answer that question, I want to just go back a little quick, one step back to the containers that you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Because I didn't think we had fleshed that out. Lots of times the land is too vast and it's too dry and it's going to be costly to try. So that is where containers, so it's easier because it's easier to contain the soil and keep the soil in that container with nutrients and so forth and so on. Typically, many of us going to call that a raised bed, meaning that you raise it. So you're not on the floor of the soil anymore. You raise it and you contain it. So it's easier to manage that soil. All of my backyard gardening, I use raised beds and I just use rocks and all kinds of things to just keep the soil within those raised beds.
Describe how you create a raised bed
So let us say you have your baseline. And I might want to have at least probably 2 feet of really good rich soil on that baseline. I till up that baseline, get the 2 or so feet of soil, and then I cordon it off. So I'm from a rocky area, so I just get rocks and make a rock wall.
So you build a perimeter around the area.
That's
So you
correct.
can use stones or you can use log.
Yes,
to create
absolutely.
the perimeter. So that is what he's calling raised bed. So it all depends on the situation. And
the materials
and
available.
and the materials that are available. Right. So it
All
is
time
very
people call
easy.
it, rock a wall. I don't know if you know that people used to use the rocks to demarcate one property from the other property. So you just stack the rocks up. You can use piece of board or so. When I just started, man, I lie to you, that block me use. Come it just done build. So me just pull some block. So if you look at my back garden initially set up for the first 6 or 8 beds, a block. Regular concrete block until me just evolve out and me graduate and me move forward and so on. So start with what you have. If a block alone you have, start with the block. It can keep the soil inside there, kind of way. If a pan alone you have, bore the bottom of the pan and start with the pan.
And just to add that we have tailor-made our training sessions for urban gardeners. Simple and easy. And we have information to train everyone. So all persons who are interested in urban gardening, you can contact the other parishes, and we are island-wide.
Yes.
And we provide training. We come even in the afternoon because sometimes the community groups would call us. Because, so a lot of people working and sometimes they have the meeting in the evening. We'll attend those meetings and we'll provide the training. And we also have a RADA library. And www.rada.gov.jm, you can access the library and get technical information there.
I don't want to miss what Carla asked about the question of the continued production, which is if something happens in the world,
That's
we
right.
can. Well, seeding is very important. That's a big part of it. So there are lots of veggies that once you start growing, you should start harvesting seeds. So you make the veggie grow past where it begins to flower and produce seed. Then you get those seeds out. Any nice jam jar that you can seal. You put this, make it dry, seed it in the jam jar. Lock it so it don't have the moisture going continue
like
and so on. Callaloo, pepper, and you stick that in your fridge. I mean, I have some peppers now. I'm not lying to you. I harvest some peppers, some scotch. Some scotchy, right? And I took to my mother and her, the generation who grow me. And she tell me yesterday, she said, Junior, me take 4 dozen for myself. Me give 2 dozen to Mary. 2 dozen, and I'm saying, that's so much pepper. Those peppers came from seeds that I planted 10 years ago.
So the point that you raise about the food security coming out of COVID, we have bolstered our system in terms of, rather than just focusing on the commercial farming, we have also strengthened our support for urban and backyard farming by providing inputs so that person can produce and also help to reduce the dependence on imported food.
Yes.
Before you come in, I want to say something. So you have also raised a point in terms of us producing seed. So we have the Bodles Research Station. That is where we have our germplasm in terms of storing seeds for future use. So once we come under internal shocks and our external shocks and our supply chains disrupted, we have a system in place to
So you're banking seeds.
Banking.
So we have a seed bank.
Seed bank.
Right.
Technically, seed bank.
So you can have a seed bank or a seed
At
fridge
your
at home.
house. Yes.
So my fridge, I'm telling you, when you go, you have to put the jar in the fridge, keep it cool so the seeds don't degrade.
Yeah, because the heat will destroy the viability of the seed.
I see.
So the nutrients are in the seed to produce initial life. Whoops. And then you start
So you
having to
keep
put
it
fertilizer.
cool.
The seeds that we're buying pre-packaged and commercially available, what is it that makes those, because them not in the fridge, them in the supermarket or wherever, the hardware store, wherever we get them.
They use a vacuum system to seal those seeds.
And once you open it and you've used some of the seeds and you haven't
put it back
used
in.
all
Once
of
you
them,
open it, then air
then
is
you
going
put
to
it
catch
in
the
the
seeds. So you
fridge.
seal it and put it in the fridge to keep it cool. But
Gotcha.
if you keep it in heat,
Yes.
it is going to affect the viability.
Quality.
Gotcha.
And then you will have what we call poor germination.
And then the food won't
So
nice.
you might sow 2 seedling tray and you just get sparse germination in
I
the
see.
trees.
Right.
Okay.
So are we train persons in terms of how to store seed, how to sow the seed, and how to nurture the seedlings? Because nurturing is also very
absolutely.
important.
The first
so that you get
4 to 6
healthy.
weeks of that life.
Yeah, just like how you are nurturing your children, you have to nurture the seeds.
we're going to come back to that.
We've touched on how technology can make this a more appealing venture for the youth and also making it sexy through the vertical gardens. But something I want us to explore that will also make it sexy is the creation of job opportunities, which I know is something that especially younger generations, especially those living in rural communities, transitioning to urban economies, how can we drive interest based on this?
So what Rashini is saying is in the frame called urban farming,
Yes.
what are the potential livelihoods? Because you not only
Right.
can grow,
Yes, sir.
you can do other things that support the growing.
Absolutely.
So what might some of those be?
a number of initiatives, a number of economic initiatives coming out of this urban garden. So you have persons who are providing training, persons creating containerized gardening system using local material, persons who are providing the irrigation and the water structured system in terms of harvesting the water and distributing. So we have also persons at the community level now who are collecting buying the urban produce and distributing it to other communities.
Okay.
What is also important too in terms of the training. So you have lead farmers or lead gardeners within the community that are also providing training to the person. And in terms of the one of the most sustainable part of this is producing the seedlings. So we have a lot of small nursery producers that are producing the clean seedling. We have a lot of youth right now who are doing that, and we are training them to ensure that they are proficient in producing quality
And
seedlings.
I think an opportunity as well is for maybe persons who are interested in setting up these home gardens.
Yes.
That's
Or
also
community
another,
gardens.
or yeah, right.
Certainly.
Can design it and have the expertise to probably utilize a team. So that's another good job opportunity there. Right.
And you
right.
can also focus on composting.
And composting.
selling the
Yes,
composting
right,
soil.
right.
I mean, you and I buy from people who sell bags
And
of
persons
compost.
also make liquid fertilizer using
There you
local plants like garlic and pepper. So that can also help to repel insects, insect pests.
I have
So there's a number of different opportunities that are in this urban
For livelihood.
Yes,
livelihood.
great.
People think we're talking about urban farming just in terms of having food, what you eat, growing what you eat. We're talking about health and improving our health, because the quality of what we're eating is improved when we do it ourselves. So we're talking about health.
Aesthetic appeal of the community.
Aesthetic appeal of the community. Imagine
Security.
out
Security.
there too.
Yes. Building a citizenry.
And
We're talking about the human relationship
Yeah, man.
that
Human.
happens when I share across the fence,
social cohesion
and you
in the
share
community.
across the fence,
I'll tell
and
you.
you come with the peppers that you reap,
right.
and I carry my lettuce them that I reap.
So I was saying that a part of the urban garden is to strengthen the social cohesion
That's
in the
right.
community. But what we are promoting, because over the years, persons just think urban garden is just doing something at your backyard to just produce it to food. We are also looking at urban garden as a business. We have some niche crop that we are targeting and promoting as a part of the urban garden as a business. So that is why we say, from where we sit as a technical agency, is to ensure that we educate the person that doing the urban garden. So depending on where you are, then you select the niche crop accordingly so that you can properly grow it.
Sure.
And you just don't just grow it. At the end of the day, you see something from it.
Right. I want to wait. Hold on, Clyde. One sec. I want to come to Rashini to ask. So this podcast is a production of, as we said at the start, the Environmental Foundation of Jamaica, and in particular, a project which the Environmental Foundation of Jamaica is implementing, which is the Jamaica Urban Solutions for the Environment. Basically, we are promoting greater application of what's known as nature-based solutions. I want to ask Rashini, what does this have to do with nature-based solutions, this business of urban farming?
There's a connection because it involves dealing with vegetation and other natural elements such as rocks and stones within these garden spaces, which inherently makes it a nature-based solution to a problem we face in urban settings, which is
Food insufficiency.
And that can be scaled to a national level. And so that's what makes it a nature-based solution inherently. And then also, when we talk about green jobs or the spin-off of job creation from these solutions, we're also fitting right into that criteria as well. A point we need to establish about the benefits of nature-based solutions is the human and social well-being factors, which I think have been coming out, that social cohesion, better quality diets, which would lead to less spending on healthcare, etc., etc.
Definitely.
And then we can name them. But the tone of this discussion has been old time something come back again. And I just want to emphasize that this fancy term of nature-based solutions, simply put, it is old time something come back again. It's putting back in place what we used to do and what worked. We need not forsake nature. So we need to bring back the value of nature and our understanding of how we fit in with nature around us.
Youngsters listening, probably not youngsters necessarily, a little older. Supercat vineyard
style.
Wicked and wild. Yes, because it is a
Come,
song.
Come.
Vineyard style, wicked and wild.
Yes.
Me see okra a dance with sweet carrot, potato. And me see yam and something to
You
dance.
see potato dance with banana, ginger, hot
All right,
pepper.
Mr. Harris, know it.
So you could insert that tune.
But at the point I want to bring to you, if you notice, in Kingston, metropolitan and other communities, most of the restaurants now are serving green juices.
Yes.
And a lot of persons are also buying these green juices. So setting up your urban garden, this will also help you to produce your own green juice.
I can attest to that. I am a religious green juice drinker. But I find that the weekly shopping for these various greens is quite expensive.
Very
so I
expensive.
myself, I'm thinking about doing
Growing
my
some of your
own.
own.
Yes.
Right, right.
But coming to the rescue have been these farmers markets. One of the
Which is where I go.
outcomes of COVID is that we began to have
Mobile
farmers coming
farmers market.
directly to the householder, right? Or at least in a
the
central
community.
place in the community. So these farmers markets have now become a staple in the corporate area. So we checked out one recently and we spoke to a few people. We asked them simple question: do you grow any of what you eat? And so let's hear what they had to say. You grow some of what you eat.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. Always have, or this is a new thing you started to do?
I mean, I grow in the yard. So I have.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a big space or a small space?
It's a big space, over an acre.
Wow. So
I
you're
mean,
a
I
big
just have
time,
things scattered through.
you're a big time farmer.
More like my husband.
Ah, okay. And it's vegetables that you're growing?
We have some herbs too.
Okay.
We have pineapple. We have banana. I have ginger.
Wow.
I have tangerine. The nutmeg
All
tree, just
kind
a
of
good
things.
thing. All
So
kind of
where is
things.
your stall here today?
No, not enough for that for a stall. First
Okay.
time I'm coming here I'm just visiting town with my aunt
Okay, so you're growing for your own consumption.
for my own consumption.
I see.
Yes.
How wonderful. Thank you for talking to me.
You're welcome.
No, not really. I live in a townhouse in a year. Kind of small.
In a small.
I've been clearing a year, but the soil don't seem to be that good.
Yeah.
Although things spring up in pots like pepper and
Right, because you can do quite a lot in pots.
pots, yeah. There are a few of those that just spring up by themselves.
Okay.
Pumpkin, I think.
Oh,
Maybe melon. What's that?
melon and pumpkin.
Yeah, I think when they throw out the water, the seeds never gone.
Ever thought to really kind of try and grow some more?
Yeah, man, we have cleared a little here. It's a townhouse.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think the soil readily. It's something after work.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck with
It's something I
it.
want to get into.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
And so that you've heard from two people there. One, yes, I grow, and another, I live in a townhouse. I don't have no space. I'm thinking about it. I clear a little piece of the space, but it's small. So there are different. We can grow regardless of what space we have, I think is one of the messages we want to leave with listeners. So we spoke with Carrie-Ann Gray.
Carol.
Yes.
Yes. You also spoke with Carrie-Ann
I
Gray
did.
from Jamaica Tower Farms Limited. So let us hear what she has to say.
We want to talk about tower farming and what it is that Jamaica Tower Farms offers for all our considerations. So thank you so much for joining us, Terry-Ann.
Lovely to be here. I am happy to discuss, using limited space because that is no longer an excuse for us because we have the answer for you or the solution. So currently our farm is on a 1/4 acre of property and we're only using half of that 1/4 acre. So it's really just 1/8 that we have 100 towers on.
Oh my.
Right. And we're able to grow 4,400 plants at once. And the capacity can be increased by 3, but originally we had spaced out the towers to accommodate the growth of Scotch bonnet. Pepper plants, which of course, get big. But know that we don't do that much. We do mostly leafy greens, scallion, lettuce, etc. and herbs. We can fill that space and increase the capacity.
All right. So I'm a householder and I'm listening to this conversation and I'm saying, yeah, but what I have is a little balcony.
Right. Okay. So one tower takes up a 3 by 3 foot space, and having a balcony and fitting that tower on the balcony is perfect. As long as you have access to sunlight, then you're good. So you could put on one tower and you can grow anywhere between 20 plants to 52 plants in just that square meter.
And you can do a variety of plants
because
the way the tower is constructed, it's got pockets going up, upright.
Yes.
And therefore, each of those pockets, it has how many pockets?
So one layer or one pot holds 4 plants.
Okay.
And it is stacked 5, 7, 9, 11, or 13. So that's why you're able to grow 20 plants at 5 pots. And if you want to go up to 13 pots, that's 52 plants. Right? So the variety is actually endless. You can grow over 200 varieties of crops on it. So we're talking about all the lettuce varieties, Scotch bonnet, We're talking about sweet pepper, eggplant, cucumber, tomato.
I see cabbage.
Yes.
I see pak choy.
Yes, man.
Yes.
So basil, cilantro, parsley. So all those things that we're importing, you can actually grow in your own space, and you know what you're growing, you know what you're feeding it. In terms of pesticidal treatment, we use organic treatment, and it is working for us. So you can also use that. And if you're, on a balcony, on a rooftop, you're not susceptible to soil-borne pests. So it's, you can eliminate that out of it. So, it can work.
Awesome. And so it's run on electricity, right? I don't have solar.
Okay.
So it's JPS we're going to be running it on. How costly is the running operation of it?
So you're only using $202 of electricity for the month.
Really?
So let's compare it to a light bulb, right? It's on 4.8 hours each day, right? Because it's 3 minutes on, 12 minutes on, because this vertical farming is called aeroponics. Similar to hydroponics, aeroponics, of course, it's vertical and the pump is not on continuously. So there's a balance of water and air that allows the optimum growth of the plant with the nutrients in the water. So you don't have to worry about electricity. That's just $202 for the month.
Very basically then, the technology is water at the base?
So water at the base or the reservoir. There's a pump that sits at the bottom and it pushes the water to the top, and then it trickles down and the roots absorb the water. So the water is basically recycled. So you're using 90% less water than traditional farming.
I see, because it's a circular system.
Correct.
Right. Awesome. This is just absolutely wonderful. That was Kerry Ann Gray of Jamaica Tower Farms Limited. How do we find RADA to get what you say you have to offer?
From where we sit at RADA, we want persons to get into what we call eat what you grow what you eat. So you utilize the spaces that you have at home. And RADA willing and ready to help you design your garden. So you need to plan your garden. You need to look on your diet. And also you have that information to guide the type of garden that you are going to get involved.
So if I
with.
call you, how long it takes an officer to come to where I live?
Depending on where you are. We have over 250 agricultural extension personnel strategically located throughout the entire country.
So is it the head office that we must call?
We have a parish office at all of the parishes, and we have what we call area offices within the communities. And we have the head office. So depending on where you are, just call RADA 188 Ask RADA.
So 188 Ask ASK
RADA RADA. So
go again.
188 ASK RADA.
We thank Clyde Williams, attorney at law, but intrepid and enthusiastic urban household farmer. And we also have Mr. Colin Henry, who is Principal Director, Field Services and Operations at the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, aka RADA. Thank you both, beloved friends, for coming and sharing in the way that you have and making this a really interesting and stimulating conversation.
Blessed love.
Yes, thank you.
You can keep up with the Resilience Naturally podcast and everything the JU's project and the EFJ are doing by following the Environmental Foundation of Jamaica on social media. On Facebook and LinkedIn, just search for the Environmental Foundation of Jamaica. And on Instagram, it's _THE_EFJ. And you can also visit our website at www.efj.org.jm. Until next time, I'm Reneiquca Randall.
And I'm Carol Narcisse.
Take care.